This was one of my most requested lives, so I turned it into a true tutorial. Today, I'm going to show you how to turn one file folder into a pocket-loaded folio that I think you're going to really love and make over and over again. I'm going to start off by choosing a file folder, and I'm choosing the center tab one, although any of them would work, and we're only going to use half of the file folder, which is great because the other half can be for another one, so you can actually make two of these with one folder. I'm going to use the part that has the tab on it. You don't have to do it like this. You can do it the other way as well, and I think both would be very cute. I'm going to line up the bottom of the folder that I just cut to the bottom of the tab, and then I'm going to fold it over, and this is going to be my center. And a little fact here, my file folder did not equal 12 inches exactly. It was 11 5/8. So to find the center, I folded it in half and then marked the center. From that line, I'm going to mark over 4 inches on each side, and I'm going to cut these pieces off. These will be the closure pieces at the end, and so make sure that you just put them over to the side for now. Once I've gotten my center, I'm going to take it and reinforce it by scoring it down that same center line, and then I'm going to count 2 notches and score it on each side. But you don't have to do this measurement. You can make them bigger, you can make them smaller, you can choose to omit this part completely. I wanted it to have a gusset, and so that's why I'm adding the notches. I'm going to do the same thing with my closure pieces just to have it cohesive, since they'll both have the same type of gusset. So here, whatever you scored your file folder at, you're going to score these pieces as well. Something that I've noticed since I've started trying to create again is that things are fumbly. They're not going my way, and today's project was a perfect example of that. I actually had meant for these closures to have eyelets, and I broke my crocodile, the big like orange one. I didn't even think you could break it, and it was while I was setting the eyelet, so I'm not even sure what I did, and so we went with plan B. But you know, I wanted to talk about this because if you're in this boat and that's how you feel, I understand you. I understand the frustrations when things don't go right, and I want to encourage you to keep going. I'm going to take my 2 side pieces and I'm going to find my center, and I folded it, but if you want to measure, that's fine as well. And then I am going to measure down about 1 inch and mark it on the sides. I'm going to freehand a oval shape that I want it to be cut in, but if this scares you, or if this is you need it to be precise, then I would skip this part, because you're going to see that my shapes are definitely not exactly the same, but I think that that definitely adds to the charm. So do whatever you need to do. If you want to leave them like that, if you want to cut notches like a file folder, or a tag, you could do that as well. But I like the look of this, and I think it gives it a little bit of whimsy. This is actually going to be part 1 of 2 of the Pocket-Loaded Folio tutorials. And for part 2, I'll show you what we're going to put inside, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. So make sure that you're looking out for it this week. It was at this point where it starts kind of coming together and taking shape that I felt happy to have started this project today. Another thing that went wrong was that my printer was not printing, so you're going to see that I'm going to use a lot of scraps, and I'm going to use any of the papers that I had left over, and it ended up being fine, and more than fine. I think that it's very pretty, but it was very frustrating not to be able to print extras. This is one of my favorite kits that I've made, and I hope those of you that have already downloaded it are enjoying it. And if you haven't, make sure that you look in the description box below for the link so that you can download it for free. Once I've traced my papers and cut around them, I'm going to add a center. Instead of having the gusset be the file folder shape, I want to cover it with some decorative paper. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did down below, and I'm going to find the center mark and then add the other gussets. because of maybe the setbacks that I had, I wanted to use a dry glue so that I didn't have to wait for it to dry while I was assembling the file folder. And so I'm just going to use my glue runner, which I've had for years and I really love. I forget about it sometimes because I put it away. And the only thing that I am going to glue, you're going to see I'm going to glue down the little circle punches, the reinforcers, and then the center that I made there, because I think that's the easiest way to attach that piece. So right after this is the footage where I break the crocodile, and honestly 70% of me was like, just stop and just, it's not working today, it's okay, just, you know, it's okay, just let it go. And then I was thinking, I sat down and a little defeated, and then I started thinking of if there were any alternatives, and so I decided to grab some reinforcers. As I grabbed the reinforcers, I knew that I was going to paint them so that they would kind of stick out. They wouldn't be just plain white. And then I realized that I could take this opportunity and dress up the edges of all of my pieces with the same paint color that I'm using for my reinforcers. And I think that it was a happy accident, and I actually love the way that it turns out. It really does turn out so sweet. and this is probably my favorite part. I haven't done this in a while, but I'm taking a sanding block from Dollar Tree and I'm just going to sand. I started off by sanding all of the pieces that I painted, but then I ended up sanding some of the paper, and I love the way that it gave it that tattered and worn look. And I'm going to try to keep my sander closer, or at least in eyesight, so that I can use it again. My other favorite part was this gingham fabric that I had that is going to be my ribbon or my ties. And here you can use so many different things. You can use twine, which is what I used originally in the first time I made this. You can use fabric, you can use ribbon, you can use string. I mean, really your heart's desire. It's whatever look you're going for. And since this is the summertime collection, I thought it would be really fitting to do this red and white gingham that kind of gives picnic vibes, and I'm so glad that I did. I think that the colors really work well. And as you watch me finish this up, I just wanted to thank you for being here. Thank you for all of your love and your support, all of your prayers and well wishes. I can't even say how meaningful that has been to me. It has helped me tremendously, and I just want you to know that. I also want you to know that you are so special, you're so beautiful, and there is no one else that is like you. You matter and you are important, but most importantly, you are loved unconditionally. Until next time, love you. Bye.